All right, guys, we are back after a 2 week hiatus. We are Gritsville, USA, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this morning. We are again different from our regular Thursday time, but had a bit happen the past couple of weeks. Moved into a new location. We're still getting the whole setup right. So what you're seeing now, this isn't going to be the final product. Ever since I started the show, I had a vision with what I was wanting, the show to be like, and we are well on our way now into making that happen. But for today, we're going to make do with what we got. We're still moving in basically. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We got plenty to talk about. We are obviously talking about the best team in Major League Baseball right now, in the Detroit Tigers. Also going to do a little bit of Pistons talk. I know the last time I was on air was for the Game 6 live stream against the Knicks in the first round. Also going to be talking a little bit about Detroit City FC for a bit and my plans for how I'm going to go about talking about them for the summer. As you know, Pistons season is over, Red Wings season is over, Lions don't pick up till September. I'm not just going to be talking about Tigers. I have full plans for not only just Detroit City FC, but all the other great sports and teams that are in the state of Michigan. I have plans for all those, but we're going to start off with Detroit City FC for today. And then we are going to wrap up with the Detroit Lions and their schedule that came out this past week. Got a fun show ahead. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are watching Gritsville USA here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We're going to be back after this.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
All right, guys, welcome back to Gritsville USA right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this Saturday morning. We got not a regular show time, but again, like I kind of said in the intro there, a lot happening personally the last couple of weeks, especially with this move that my fiance and I have done. loving the new place already. Still gotta get it all set up, and then hopefully within the next few weeks or so here, you're gonna see a whole different setup for the show. One that I am very excited about. One that, again, like I had said, I had a vision for um, when I started with IE Sports Radio. So super excited for all that is to come still. Jen, thank you so much for tuning in this morning. For those that are unfamiliar, Jen is the host of our Cleveland and kind of Ohio show, with the Show of the Land. Um, Currently, right now, with Jen, we are kind of in a dead heat battle as far as the AL Central is concerned between the Tigers and the Cleveland Guardians. Um, I'll be talking about that shortly with the Tigers segment, because we got a pretty important series coming up between our two squads here. But thank you so much for tuning in, Jen. Real quick though, you guys know the deal. Give us a follow on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube at IE Sports Radio, and at IESportsRadio.com. There you can find my show and all the other great shows like Show of the Land, Yinzer Report with Ralph Calise, all the other good stuff. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this past Thursday, was the 11-year anniversary for IE Sports Radio. IE Sports Radio is Larry B's, baby, his child, basically. And I'm just a very small part of it. I'm still a very new part of it. And the fact that I'm able to even be part of this amazing team, I am super beyond grateful for all the behind the scenes stuff that is done, for Larry, for working with me and my what seems like tumultuous schedule. IE Sports Radio has an extremely bright future. We got a bunch of great minds that are running the show now, and just super excited to be part of it. Here's to year 11, year 12, year 13, and onward. Super excited for this show. Real quick, you can give me a follow at Gritsville_IESR. When I haven't been able to do my shows, I am pretty active on there. So please interact with me on there also. I love talking to you guys. I love tweeting out my thoughts. Sometimes I am a bit unhinged, as you guys probably saw on the Pistons live streams a few weeks ago. But I'm very passionate about my teams. That's why I go unhinged. And there on Twitter, it's no different. There's my personal handle as well, although that might be changing for a bit, but we'll see. But again, super excited to be with you guys here on this Saturday morning. Taryn, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Taryn, the host of our SoCal Supreme Sports Show, covers everything Southern California. Huge volleyball guy, also hosts Set Point as well. Give him a follow, give him a watch. Very knowledgeable in volleyball. I know that I have to tune into I believe it's the Grand Rapids Rise. I know that's a team that I'm wanting to start covering soon. The women's volleyball team here in Michigan. Pretty good team from my understanding. Taryn, great guy. Always tunes in. Does a lot for the channel too. So thank you, Taryn. All right. To give a quick start, we are going to be discussing, like I had mentioned in the beginning, the best team in Major League Baseball. Your Detroit Tigers, who are currently sitting with a record of 30-15. I believe they are still leading in run differential as well. Winners of 8 out of their last 10. This team can't do no wrong right now. At the beginning of the year, I think even before the season even started, I had predicted, because again, I had mentioned that the injury bug that was at Ford Field walked across Brush Street, went into Comerica Park. Matt Beerling's down, Parker Meadows is down. We haven't seen any of those guys. The elderly senior citizen we signed in the offseason, Alex Cobb, hasn't even made an appearance this year. I wasn't very bright on this team, but that was a huge mistake on my part about what this team is capable of, almost as if I forgot how last season ended. With the whole miraculous run that they went on with the pitching chaos and everything. But now it's like batting chaos with what we have. It's like they kind of flipped it around. Tigers 30-15, we're a little past the quarter mark of the season, and they are the best team in baseball. And I could not have predicted this at all. Especially with early on, they had that Dodgers series. Now I get it. The Dodgers are the Dodgers, but now we're better than the Dodgers, it seems like. And mind you, I understand that the American League kind of as a whole is weak. The AL Central being withstanding, but I'll get into that in a bit. But the fact that the Tigers, I believe, are still leading in run differential. They own arguably the best starting staff, even with Casey Mize being on the 15-day IL. Jack Flaherty last night against the Blue Jays, he pitched probably arguably his best game of the season. He's had a huge issue with the 6th inning. as of late. Is like he pitches great, he pitches well, and then the 6th inning comes and Jack Flaherty forgets how to play baseball. But last night he only gave up 2 runs in the 6th inning, so we're taking baby steps, And then yes, they I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they have been the best surprise this season. They've been the best story this season, especially with the player that I'm going to talk about next after this. God, that Guardian series in the ALDS last year. I'm still a little bitter about that. Because here's the thing. I know that if we would have won that game 5 in the ALDS against Cleveland, I knew in my gut that we would have beaten the Yankees. I knew that we would have. Because we always beat the Yankees in the playoffs, and we're, for whatever reason, when the Yankees play the Tigers, it's almost like they kind of forget how to play baseball a bit. I knew we would have beaten the Yankees if we would have made it that far. But yeah, I mean, I believe Cleveland right now, they're 4.5 games back. But like I said, I'm gonna get to that in a bit because I have a bone to pick in that regard. Ralph, thank you so much for tuning in. Ralph Calise, everybody, host of the Yinzer Report. He tunes into as many shows as he can. Phenomenal host. You guys got DKB, Don Kelly, baby, as your interim manager now for the Pirates. So I don't know how he is as a coach, as a manager. Good luck. I saw that he got ejected, and then I saw again, so I don't know what he's doing over there. But thank you so much, Ralph, for tuning in. I know you always tune in. Thank you so much, buddy. But yeah, Tigers, best team in baseball. We'll see how long this is sustainable. I know we got some guys coming back soon. I know Matt Vierling is probably about a couple, still I think a week or 2 away, from my understanding. I know he's currently on his AAA assignment with the Mud Hens. And he's raking over there, so he's going to be a warm welcome back for that 3rd base spot. But with who I want to talk about next is something that I couldn't have foreseen, nor could I have predicted, nor like anything. The Javi Renaissance, the Javi Sans, is alive and well. Very alive and well. And you're right, Ralph. Javi Baez basically is reborn. There's a thing in Detroit now, and I believe it was coined by someone with 97 won the ticket, where they're like, this isn't even Javier Baez, this is Javier Baez. And I know that even the Detroit Tigers social media team, they've been taking advantage. They've been saying that as well, like, oh, Javier Baez is raking, because this isn't Javi Baez. This is not the Javier Baez of the last 5 years that we've been seeing, who's been like, it seems like his mind hasn't been on baseball. You're seeing, the 50-cent New York Met first pitch be thrown, and then Javi Baez is still swinging at it. Like, this is a completely different player. He is raking. Like, he's currently still it's the midpoint of May, and he is hitting 307. He had 6 RBIs, 2 3-run shots that basically won the game in the second game against the Red Sox in that series, including the walk-off. And he's not even in his normal defensive position. He's played mainly shortstop. He plays second base. We have him out in center field, and he's playing like a Gold Glover out there. Like, we're going to have a problem when Parker Meadows is ready and healthy. Like, where are we going to stick Javi? Because it seems like we can't take him out. He is making play after play, including one last night where he basically stole a run from the Blue Jays. He got a double play on something that should have hit ground if it was, I think, literally anybody else on our team. Spectacular catch. I don't know who it was on first for the Blue Jays, but he was basically already full-on booking it for home. Javi makes the amazing catch. The guy's like, oh, crap. Had to turn around and go back. And then Javi got a double play out of that. And then he had a game, I think, last week where he stole a home run. And it's like, this is a completely different player. Now, I know the talk of the town this past week and Detroit media is this even sustainable? Is this going to last the whole season? At this point, I can't even say definitively no. The way that he's just out there performing. Will the hitting probably go down? Yes. I don't expect him to finish the year with an above 300 average with an 855 OPS. I don't believe that'll be the case. But I very much can still see him hitting like whatever the league average is. I don't remember off the top of my head what the league average is for hitting and all that. But he has completely transformed himself, and a lot of the fans around town is like, oh, it's the hip because he's had a hip issue the last few weeks. I don't know if this is true, but there's been belief that he might have even went to go see a sports psychologist because again, completely different player. But I attribute it to this, and I have to actually give credit to my cousin Kevin for pointing it out that Javi Baez is a result of the team that he's with. Meaning, so we didn't really get to see Javi last year with the big playoff run because he was shut down for the rest of the season, which I think was the hip issue. He was shut down the rest of the season. We didn't get to see him in that run, but now he's part of a great squad. The issue with Javi Baez is that he feels like he needs to play hero ball, that he needs to try to go for the big swing, which a lot of the time resulted in whiffs, a lot of whiffs. And that made him, in essence, a horrible player because he felt like he had to carry the team on his back. Now he has a dominant supporting staff around him that he can just kind of loosen up. And if you see him, it just looks like he's having fun playing baseball again. So I believe it literally is a combination of maybe the hip issues now correct. Sports psychologist maybe could have helped him, and the fact that he's just now having fun. I mean, when you saw him on that 6 RBI night, he hit the walk-off, the arms up in the air. Like, this is Chicago Cub Javi Baez. This is absolutely a completely different player. El Mago is here, and here's the thing. Here is the thing. He could drop off and go back to old Javi Baez the rest of the season, and I don't even care. The reason why I wouldn't even care is because, and Mike Valenti of the Valenti Show with Rico on 97.1, got to give him credit. He pointed this out. Javi Baez did his job for when the team needed him the most. The team needed him the most at the beginning of the season when you had, again, the issue with Parker Meadows, the issue with Matt Vierling. Basically, every center fielder that you had on the team was out with injury. We had to literally pluck Javi Baez from shortstop to plug him in center field because we had nobody. He came in here and he did his job. And that's all we needed from him. He could fall off the face of the earth tomorrow. I really hope he doesn't. I really hope he keeps this up. But it wouldn't matter. He did what we asked of him to do. And that was be a competent baseball player. Now he's almost playing MVP level. Like, he keeps this up, I very much see him winning a Gold Glove. I'm not even playing. I don't think he's going to win like a Silver Slugger or anything, but I very much see a Gold Glove in his future. Javier Baez, phenomenal player for Detroit. I never thought I'd say that. I really never did. I really hope he keeps it up. But now, because I see the comments coming in, and I've been purposefully waiting for some of them for this next part, because this next part really pisses me off, and that is the Detroit curse of being the best. Prelude to this before I go into how the Tigers are involved. So the Detroit Lions last year finished with a record of 15-2. Arguably the best team in all football, even with the defensive injuries that they had. The issue was, even going into the last week, they were 14-2 into week 18. Usually week 18 games, they're all wrapped up. You're resting players. You're getting ready for playoff or wild card, divisional, whatever you get to. I mean, what have you. The Lions in week 18 were still fighting for the division with the Minnesota Vikings, who were also at 14-2. And it's like, really? We have the best regular season in franchise history, and we have to go all the way down to week 18 just to clinch the damn division because the Minnesota Vikings were also good. And then Green Bay also was kind of like right at your heels, never quite got there, but they were there. So it's like, Detroit can't be the best. And what I'm getting to with this right now is the fact of what Jen said right here. The fact that everyone is still down in the AL Central is laughable because it is the best division in AL. And then It is just it blows my mind. And then Glenn here with the bold North breakdown, host of the Minnesota show. He is correct. The Tigers are on fire, and the Twins are on a 12-game winning streak, and they were 5 games behind. Cleveland is 4.5 games behind. Kansas City had a little run of their own. They are 5.5 games back of Detroit, and it's like, what the hell? This was supposed to be a terrible division outside of like Detroit and like maybe Cleveland, and now like the Tigers can't create enough separation. Now, granted, yes, just like early this week, yes, the Cleveland Guardians were like 2.5 games back and everything. Now there's a 4.5 game separation, but it's like, oh my God, why are these other teams like? It blows my mind. It blows my mind that Detroit teams just can't just be the best without having to worry that somebody is right behind them. Because baseball is a very streaky sport, and you see that right now with Glenn's Minnesota Twins. They are literally on a 12-game winning streak, and I'm like, this team was almost DOA at the beginning of the year because they couldn't stop losing. So it's like. And then Kansas City had their little run, and then Cleveland is Cleveland, and it's like, oh my God, like we should be up like 10 games on these cats, but yet we're not. Listen, at this point, I still very much expect Detroit to win the division, but I don't want to sit here and have to worry like, oh my God, like these teams are on stupid winning streaks. Like beginning of the season, like Jeff Passan of ESPN was like, the AL Central, everybody, and like every team in the AL Central was like 2-5 at that point, and now it's like not that. It's just utterly ridiculous how great. Like I get it. We're only like 45 games into the season, so I'm gonna do the whole well if the season ended today thing. Like, but it's true. If the season ended today, we have 4 teams from the American League Central in the playoffs, and I don't know if that's an indictment of how terrible the American League is compared to the National League, or if these American League Central teams are actually really good. Because right now, you obviously have the Tigers as the best team in the league. Then your wild card spots are taken up by Cleveland, Minnesota, Kansas City. And between those 3 teams, they're all like a game separated from each other. So it's like, dear Lord. AL Central, really, really good. More good than I would like for it to be. But what's up ahead? What's up ahead for these Tigers? So they won last night. It's rivalry weekend, and apparently our rivals are the Toronto Blue Jays, which I understand. Obviously, Detroit's right on the border with Canada. Every time that Toronto plays in Detroit, there's always like a Blue Jay takeover. It feels like the Toronto Blue Jay fans always come in and take over Comerica Park. It pisses me off so much. So I guess that would make us rivals, so to speak. We won the first game last night. It was a nail biter. It seemed like every time the Tigers would try to create separation, Toronto would creep back a little, but Tigers pulled it off in the end. They got another game against Toronto today at 3:00. Who's on the mound today? Reese Olson. I don't know. If we can at least win the series against Toronto, I'll be glad. But then we go off to St. Louis. St. Louis isn't the best. I expect another winning series, but again, nothing in baseball is a guarantee. Like we lost this series against the Texas Rangers, and the Rangers are kind of getting it together, but that's a whole separate topic. I'm not going back in time. But it's what's after the Cardinals series where it's like something really huge, and that is the first series of the year against Cleveland. 4 games in Detroit. A must-win series, yes, even this early on. I get there's a lot of season left, but if you can win this series, very worst case scenario, split it against Cleveland, but that's like worst case scenario. You cannot lose that series. That should create you enough separation because, again, I don't see what the Twins are doing as sustainable. Kansas City, I saw when they went on their little run, I saw who they were playing, and I'm like, okay, I would expect a team like this to be beating those type of teams, just like how with the road trip against the Los Angeles Angels and the Colorado Rockies, I expected the Tigers to win those games, and I think they won every single one but one. I expected that from them. So Kansas City, we'll see. But the Twins, we'll see. But this series, May 22nd through May 25th against Cleveland, massive. And then after that, you have a series against the Giants. Oh, and then look who you play after that. You play Kansas City before you finally get a 4-game series against the White Sox, in which I will be at one of those games in Chicago. Rate Field, guaranteed rate field, whatever you call it, one of the most boring ballparks in all of baseball, but I'll be excited. My family will be in town. And they just happen to come in. They didn't even come up for that series. The Tigers just happened to be here. So that'll be exciting to see them in person. But we have an absolute hell slog of the rest of May. Again, you got the Blue Jays, who are a solid squad. Cardinals, not so much. But then you got the Guardians, the Giants, and the Royals after that before you finally get a breather against the White Sox. So we'll see what happens with that. Again, but the way that this team is playing, they might win it all. Who knows? World Series bound, baby. We'll check up on them next week again. But very exciting time to be a Detroit Tigers fan. This was unexpected completely from my end, especially the Javi Sans. But I'm just happy to be here for the ride. I'm just so happy to be here for the ride. When we come back, we will be touching a little bit on the Detroit Pistons and a little bit about Detroit City FC2, a new team that I am going to try my best to cover. I do enjoy soccer. I think just not being in Detroit kind of hinders me a bit from following along with Detroit City FC. But I'm gonna give it my best. I'm gonna give it my all. But you guys are watching Detroit City, Gritsville, USA, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We will be back after this.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Cleveland and Columbus sports fans, I've got the show for you. I'm Jen B, host of the Show of the Land right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. You want football? I've got the Browns, the Buckeyes, the Eagles, the Purple Raiders, and more for you. You want basketball? I've got the Cavs and the Charge for you. You want hockey? I've got the Blue Jackets and the Monsters for you. You want football, aka soccer? I've got the Crew and the Crunch for you. You want volleyball? I'm going to unleash the fury for you. You want more Cleveland and Columbus sports? I've got them all for you, from the majors to the minors to the college rinks. Catch me, Jen B, every week on the Show of the Land right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport.
All right, guys, welcome back to Gritsville, USA, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We are going to get into a little bit of Detroit Pistons talk, but real quick, before I talk about the main thing I'm going to talk about with the Pistons, I have to do something real quick. Because during the Knicks series, I talked a lot of shit. I talked so much shit. So I got to give Knicks fans like Ricky K with, NY State of Sports, all the other Knicks fans, Knicks Muse on Twitter. I gotta give the Knicks their flowers. I thought the Knicks were a joke, especially into that series, and which is a series that I still very much believe the Pistons could have and should have won. But that's besides the point. The fact is, I immediately went on to say Celtics in 4, and here we are. The Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals, and it's just absolutely wild to think that either the Knicks or the Pacers are about to be in the NBA Finals. The Knicks are a solid squad. Now, granted, and I don't want to hear people say, "Oh, Jason Tatum is Achilles." Like, let's be real. Jason Tatum could have not torn his Achilles, and the Knicks still would have won this series. Still would have won it. Doesn't matter. Celtics were also DOA. They were not going to win that series. Celtics are going to have to blow it up this year. Celtics are going to have to blow it all up financially, and then, Jason Tatum not going to be available at all next season. But the Knicks are going to win that series, and now I think the Knicks are going to beat the Pacers. I don't see the Pacers winning that series. I think that's going to be all New York Knicks, and we're about to get a New York Knicks, Minnesota Timberwolves finals because that's what the NBA wanted. Don't get me started. Everybody knows how rigged the NBA is. Draft lottery, that's all I got to say. But come on now. You had the blockbuster trade over the summer with Cat and Julius Randle, and now two of those teams are in their respective conference finals. Yeah. It's going to be a Knicks and Timberwolves NBA Finals. You guys just wait. It's going to be Knicks and Wolves. But that's besides the point. I got to give the Knicks their flowers. They are a solid squad, despite of my beliefs of how I think the Pistons series could have and should have gone. The Knicks made it this far. I think they're going to be the team in the Eastern Conference in the finals, so I got to give their flowers to them. But enough about another team that's not my own. I'm going to keep this real short and simple for the Pistons. Do the Pistons need to make a splash this offseason? My thing is, yes, they do. Now, obviously, everybody, I don't want to say everybody. There's some people that are like, oh, Giannis. Because, Giannis is not going to be back with Milwaukee. I would be stunned if Giannis is back with Milwaukee next season. The Pistons would have the pieces to go trade for him. I don't think that's going to happen. I would be stunned. I would welcome it. I think if you put Giannis up next to Cade, I think that'll be phenomenal. All you would have to do is just basically give up Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, Ron Holland. You'd have to give up Tobias Harris too because of salary cap reasons, and then maybe like your next 5 million first round picks. But you can do it. Now I think teams that are most likely to do. I know Houston is like very serious with trading for Giannis. The Spurs, I think, are the best team too. I think I even heard that the Warriors are interested. But if he goes to the Warriors, I just quit everything. But Giannis is an option, the most unlikeliest of options, but he's an option. You could poach someone from Boston because the reality is Boston is going to have to shed some salary, and that is going to involve trading some players away. Players that are potentially at risk for that would be Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis. Somebody like Porzingis, I think, would help your team. The problem is Porzingis can never stay healthy. I think Drew Holiday would be a warm welcome to this team. I've always admired Drew Holiday. I've always liked Drew Holiday as a player. Derek White would be a welcome addition. Automatic starter, immediate shooting. Jaylen Brown, he could be a good Robin to Cade's Batman. He's already being Robin to Jason Tatum. He can come here and be Robin to Cade Cunningham. And then you have the one that everybody thinks it's going to happen because of the connection with Trajan Langdon and this team, and that would be for Zion Williamson from the New Orleans Pelicans. Trajan Langdon being part of the brain trust that helped draft Zion. He knows the type of player he's getting. Apparently, because with the draft lottery, each team sends like their own representative from whether it's like a current player or a legend or somebody. Zion was representative for the Pelicans, and the whole knock against Zion was, oh, he's too big. He can't stay healthy because he's too big. His body, his legs can't support his body weight. But apparently, I didn't watch the draft lottery. I knew how it was going to end. So what was the point of watching it? Apparently Zion looked really good, as in like he's really fit. Like whatever Ozempic is working for him is working. But there's the belief that he's now looking this good because the Pelicans are trying to showcase him. Because why else would you send Zion to be your representative for the draft lottery where people are going to be watching? It's because you're showcasing him. You have no intention of wanting him on the team anymore. You're gonna let all these other teams see, like, hey, see, look, he looks pretty good, right? And I think he would be a warm welcome to the Pistons as well if he can. Mind you, if he can stay healthy, he has 3 years left on his term, so it wouldn't be a rental. I believe the trade scenario that I keep seeing around would be like Jaden Ivey, Tobias Harris, somebody else that's not like important. And then maybe like a first round pick could like land you Zion Williamson. I'm like, okay, yes, let's do that. Because no matter what, if the Pistons do swing a trade, Tobias Harris, no matter what, has to be involved because of salary cap reasons, which sucks because I really appreciated what Unk did for this season for the Pistons. But I don't think because here's the thing too, and again, got to give credit to 97.1 for talking about it. Just relaying it to you guys. But basically, the East, and I don't gotta give him credit. That's just my basketball knowledge as well. The East is gonna be wide open. The Celtics are done because you're not only gonna not have Jason Tatum anymore, but the reality is, yes, you do have to shed salary. Cleveland, no offense, Gen B, but I don't think JB Bickerstaff was the problem with Cleveland. I really don't think they were. The Pacers, I don't see. I know that they made it back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals, but like, I don't fully buy into them. Milwaukee's gonna blow it up. Orlando, yes, Orlando's gonna be a good squad, but they're still pretty young. Like, the East is right there for the Pistons to take, and they need to take full advantage. Because no offense, if you try to run it back with the same guys, you're not gonna get there. And I am on the boat that everybody's like, oh, but Jaden Ivey, like we didn't get to see a full season of Jaden Ivey. Like, that's fine. But if he has some trade value, you can get somebody better. Like, why not go for it? You definitely need more on this team. I have no issue with them bringing Malik Beasley back. If you want to try to bring Schroeder back on a kind of like a team-friendly deal, go for it. I think you got to step away from Tim Hardaway Jr. I appreciated what he did for us again this past season, but I don't think he's somebody we should look to bring back either. And the Pistons have I believe the second most salary cap of all the teams. They got to do something with it. They can't just sit here and be like, we're just going to keep our guys, do the Detroit Lions route, because that can only get you so far. And this team isn't like the Lions. The Lions want to keep their own guys. That's fine because they have a solid group of guys. But this isn't the case with the Pistons. They got to get better somewhere because Cade does need a Robin. Like, Cade's second best player shouldn't have been Malik Beasley the whole year. It shouldn't have been somebody coming off the bench. And again, Jaden Ivey could be that Robin, but you gotta get somebody else. So yes, I think the Pistons need to make a splash. The Pistons don't even have a draft pick this year in the first round, so until free agency starts or until a trade happens, I mean, this is it for Pistons talk. I'm proud of, again, I made it known, I'm proud of the season that they've had. Couldn't have gone any better, but we'll see what happens. I do think Trajan needs to swing a trade here. I'm not saying be reckless, but a trade does need to happen. Now, real quick, before we take our break, I do want to touch a little bit on Detroit City FC. That is Detroit's soccer team. They're not MLS level. They're not. I believe they're in the USL Championship or whatever that's called. But I do plan on covering more. I've always wanted to be invested into DCFC. Living out in Chicago is tough because obviously they're not a big market MLS team like the Chicago Fire. So it's kind of hard to kind of tune in to watch games because they're not really, as far as my knowledge goes, they're not really streamable outside of Detroit. They might be, and I'm just looking in the wrong avenues. But I very much want to cover the Rouge. Before I moved out of Detroit like 5 years ago, I've always had that interest to want to go to a game, and I knew that I was going to until the funny little thing that happened in 2020 happened. But Detroit City FC is the first of the teams in the state of Michigan that I do plan on covering more of, because again, we are entering the summer. The summer, like again, basketball season for me is over. Hockey season was over like 3 months ago. Yes, I'm going to be talking about the Lions, but that's only because about the schedule release. But like nothing until like July, end of July for training camp, and then preseason and the regular season. So Detroit City FC, they're also in full force. I do plan on covering them a lot more. They're going to be like the main highlighted team of the new ones that I'm going to be covering. I just want to let you viewers out there know Detroit City FC talk will be coming. Just give me some time. I want to make sure that I increase my knowledge and my repertoire of what they got going on over there. But I know that they're super beloved in Detroit. I'm excited for that new stadium that they're building out in Corktown. That's definitely something that I would go back to go catch a match. And I know that the one out in Hamtramck, Keyworth Stadium, I think. I know it's beloved, but getting like an actual nice soccer-oriented stadium is going to be really cool. But yeah, Detroit City FC, more coming on the way. But we're going to take one more quick break. When we come back, we'll be touching base on the Lions 2025 schedule release. We'll see. But you guys have been watching Gritsville USA right here on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be back after this.
Are you a fan of Minnesota sports? Do you love the Vikings and hate the Packers? Are you a fan of the Timberwolves, Twins, Wild, Lynx, St. Paul Saints? Here on the Bold North Breakdown, we'll talk about all of those professional teams as well as all the college teams in the area. That's your basketball teams, football, hockey, volleyball, men's and women's sports alike. We talk about them all. You're on the Bold North Breakdown. Join me, your host, Glenn Ritter, every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central to discuss all that is happening in the Minnesota sports scene. Here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, Wisconsin sports fans? I'm Dan, diehard Baholic, host of the Wisconsin Whistle. Check us out every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We're talking Green Bay Packers, Milwaukee Brewers, Milwaukee Bucks, Marquette basketball, Wisconsin football and basketball, and all Wisconsin sports. Don't miss us each week, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, guys, welcome back to Gritsville, USA, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We're going to talk about the Lions now. I know we haven't talked about them for a good minute, but the 2025 schedule is out, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to go week by week. Quick, brief, maybe 10 seconds on each team that we're going to be playing before I give my way too early prediction and my final thoughts on the schedule. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. Week 1 at Green Bay. I think that's going to be America's Game of the Week on Fox. They've already said that. It's going to be a 4:30 kickoff, 4:25 kickoff, I'm going to be exact. That's a win. I don't care. We're going to win that one. Week 2, home opener against Chicago, against Ben Johnson's Chicago. That one I don't know. I don't know what to. I can't get a good read on the Bears. I don't know what type of team is going to be because it seems like they're having a lot of tumultuous problems right now with the whole Caleb Williams was threatening to go to the UFL instead of being taken by the Bears. No idea what that's going to do for locker room morale. Ben Johnson's trying his best to kind of be like, hey, like we're all good over here, and I get that's more kind of like the morale standpoint, not actually the talent. After we're gonna win that one too. I don't care. Week 3 at Baltimore, Monday Night Football. I think this is where we will get our first loss of the season, mainly because the Lions, for their life up to this point, still cannot stop a mobile quarterback, and that's what you're going to be playing against Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is just otherworldly. I don't think we're going to win that one. I even don't think it's going to be particularly close, if I'm being honest. I know the last time we played Baltimore, it was ugly, but I get it. Completely different defense at that time. We can see, but for right now, for the way too early prediction, that's a loss. Week 4, Cleveland, win. Week 5, Cincinnati. I don't see any reason why they can't win that one either. You have Cincinnati's like monster offense, but then you have their defense, who apparently is just doing everything in their power to make Trey Hendrickson hate them even more. That should be a win too. I think that one will be a dogfight, but I think the Lions, I think people are kind of forgetting that the Lions defense before Aiden got hurt and then everybody else started dying, that the Lions defense was extremely dominant. That Calvin Shepard, I think Calvin Shepard was a perfect successor for Aaron Glenn. So I don't have any concerns for the defense. Can we at least get one more edge rusher in? Yes. I'm just waiting for the news to drop that we just re-signed Zadarius Smith just to call it a day. But that one, week 5, Cincinnati should be a win. At that point, that marks the Lions at 4-1. Week 6, you have at Kansas City, Sunday Night Football showdown. F it, that's a win too. I don't care. I'm being way too generous right now. Again, it's the way too early prediction. It's way too early. Just give me a break. Way too early prediction, but yes, we're gonna be Kansas City. I don't think Kansas City did much to improve from last year. I'm trying to think about if they did anything in free agency or really did anything special during the draft, and I don't think they did. Nothing comes to mind. I could be wrong, but I don't think they did anything. That's a win. Week 7 at home against Tampa Bay, Monday Night Football. That is also a win. We're going to beat Tampa. I'm not concerned. Week 8 is the bye week. Now, this is a nice slot for the bye week because one, even though yes, I had just basically said we're going to be going 7-1 all up to this point. Is that 7-1? 6-1? 6-1, excuse me. 6-1, like that is still kind of a gauntlet to get through. I'm not saying that any means because I think we're going to win these games that these teams are easy. They are not. I just think that at the end of the day, the Lions are the better team. Week 8 is perfectly slotted because I believe the trade deadline is at this time. The last couple of years, the Lions have had like week 5 bye weeks, which is just way too damn early. This is teetering around the midpoint of the season. And again, trade deadline's around this week, I think. So if you're going to trade for somebody, you can bring them in, gives them extra time to rest, get acclimated and everything. So you don't have like a Zadarius Smith situation where we traded for him. It was week 8. He was in a situation where he would have not had a single bye week at all had he played immediately. But this will get whoever you trade for perfectly slotted in. Week 9, you have a home game against Minnesota. Minnesota, I don't know what to expect from because I don't know what type of quarterback play they're going to get from JJ McCarthy. Because I really think for Minnesota's season, it's really going to come down to that. Now, obviously, Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer. He basically resurrected Sam Darnold's career. We'll see what JJ McCarthy can bring. I'll chalk that one up as a win. Divisional rematch against Washington. I got to give us another loss here just to be fair. Again, mobile quarterback. And that's going to even be the same thing against Philadelphia. Mobile quarterback, especially at their place on a Sunday night game. I don't think that's going to be way too friendly in that. But so I think we'll have back-to-back losses here. At that point, that puts you at what, 7-3, I think. Yeah, 7-3. Week 12 against the New York Giants, that's going to be a win. Week 13 against the Green Bay on Thanksgiving. I got to give us a divisional loss. I think it'll be this year. Yeah, I gotta give us a divisional loss. I think we will lose Thanksgiving. Again, way too early prediction. Way too early. But I'll put a loss here. I'll put a loss here on Thanksgiving, unfortunately. Week 14 against Dallas, Thursday Night Football, win. Los Angeles Rams, Week 15 in LA. I'll give us a loss. Do I want to give us a loss here? I gotta be fair. Yeah, this will be a loss. Week 16, home against Pittsburgh, win. Week 17 at Minnesota on Christmas. That's going to be a new one. I never thought I'd be stressed out on Christmas Day. That'll be a win. I think we'll go into US Bank, and I think we'll whoop ass. That'll be a win. And then Week 18 at Chicago. Obviously, that's going to be a winter game. It's going to be cold. But F it. Goff proved himself last season. He's all terrain. We're going to win that one. I believe that places their record at 12-5. Yeah, because the losses were against the Rams, Green Bay, Philadelphia, Washington, and Baltimore. Yeah. I think the Lions on this day, May 17th, way too early, they will be 12-5. And as for my final thoughts on how the schedule even landed, I am really not a huge fan of this Thursday gauntlet the league is going to put us through, because here we are. Again, you have Week 13, Green Bay, Thanksgiving. That's obviously a Thursday. And they did this shit to us last year where they made us play another Thursday game the following week. And that's where we lost to Lee McNeil. And I think that's where we also lost like a lot of other guys. Yeah, another Thursday night game. But then the rationale was like, oh, but then you get a little mini bye week because you don't have to play for another 10 days until you get to LA. And it's like, thanks, but we could also have a little mini bye week after week 13. But then you go to play LA and then you go to play Pittsburgh. But then guess what? You have another short week because you're playing on Christmas, which also falls on a Thursday. So it's like in the span of a month, in 1 month span, because what day does Thanksgiving fall on? Thanksgiving is going to fall on the 27th. So from November 27th through December 25th, you are going to play 3 Thursday games. I think that is incredibly unfair. I think that's incredibly unfair to do. Now I get it. The Lions are the darling of the league. They have a lot of like prime time and showcase spots, but like to do that to them, 3 Thursday games in 1 month is utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous to do. I'm a fan of where they place the bye week, but at that point, damn, at least give them a bye week in week 14 or week 12 if you're about to have them do 3 Thursday games in 28 days. That is insane to do to them. Other than that, like it's weird because I knew like when you looked at the opponents for the season, you're like, damn, that looks kind of rough. But then it's kind of seen outside of the November to December span. When you kind of look at it schedule wise, you're like, okay, this isn't that bad. Again, way too early prediction. The only thing that I know that I'm pissed off about is the 3 Thursday games in a month, and then Minnesota on Christmas Day. Is like, why can't I just enjoy Christmas? Why do I have to feel like I'm gonna have to yell on Christmas Day? Because I just know I'm going to. But yeah, I can't say it enough. That last month is going to be brutal for this team, and I feel like if you were going to do that, you really should have given them a bye week in week 12. You really should have given them a bye week then. Get them fully rested going into Thanksgiving week. Like that is just so unfair to them. But this team is built for it. I know Dan Campbell will have his guys ready, unlike Ben Johnson having his guys ready for the Minnesota or for the Washington game in the divisional. But 12-5, May 17th, 12-5 is my way too early prediction. But that's the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, on another Saturday morning appearance. The more that we get our new place situated out over here, like I said, we're gonna have a completely different setup in the background and everything. Super excited for what I want like the show to look like. Like it's gonna be a lot of whole revamping and everything. But again, thank you to Larry, thank you to IE Sports Radio, just for bearing along with me the last couple weeks with everything I have to do for the move and then juggling with work at the same time. So thank you guys so much. Lions are going 12-5. Tigers are winning the World Series. The Pistons are going to get Giannis. Detroit City FC is going to win it all. That's basically the sum of the show. No, in all seriously, Tigers are a phenomenal team. I can't wait to see how they're going to progress. Yes, they do have a gauntlet of a schedule coming up for the rest of the month with finishing out this series against Toronto. You got the Cardinals, and you got the Guardians, and the Giants, and the Royals before you finally get to a team like the White Sox. So we're going to see how they finish up that month. But like I said, every week, Tigers are going to be the main focus, and we're going to be teetering other things, just like, Detroit City FC, Grand Rapids Rise, the other collegiate teams that still have other sports going on. Like I know Michigan has like tennis champions now from what I saw. I know softball, baseball season's going on for collegiate sports as well. We'll be checking in on them. The Pistons, like I said, won't bring up anymore unless something crazy happens, like a trade or a signing come free agency. Red Wings, we'll see you guys in October. But then the Lions, again, unless we have like a Zadarius Smith coming back. I mean, nothing until July. But thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Make sure you give us a follow on X, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at iSports Radio, iSportsRadio.com. Once again, happy 11th birthday to iSports Radio. Can't wait to see what comes up ahead for the rest of the year and then the many years to come. Shout out Larry for all that. But once again, you guys have been watching Gritsville USA here on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Until I see you next time.